Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. All right, so just want to give you guys a quick fix on this issue that I came across the other day. So I was driving and out of nowhere had a battery and brake light on the dash, and it seemed like the car was losing power. So basically I pulled over and immediately thought it might be the battery or the alternator, and had to do a couple of checks on it. If you guys have this situation where the brake light and the battery light comes on, most of the time it's because the alternator is bad. Now you're gonna have to do some testing before actually swapping out the alternator, because there's a good chance, well, not a good chance, but there's a chance that it could be caused by something else. All right, I mean, normally what happens is the battery and brake light comes on because the car's computer is sensing that the battery is not being charged correctly, or the battery is low while the car is on. All right, so basically this isn't really a super rare situation, but normally when the alternator dies on you, it'll die on you before that battery and brake light comes on. But normally if it's on the stage of dying, on the state of dying on you, and normally the alternator dies on you, like 99% of the time the alternator dies on you while the car is running. Meaning while the engine is running. You could be idling, you could be driving it, but it'll die on you while the car is running. All right. A lot of times they'll die on you before the battery and brake light comes on. All right. It's a rare occasion that the battery and brake light comes on and you'll be able to drive it for maybe like 10-15 miles before it actually dies out on you. So just keep in mind that if you have that situation, normally it's a warning that your car is about to die because the battery is not charging at the right state of charge. Normally the state of charge with the car running, with the alternator working the way it's supposed to, it should be anywhere from like 13.8 to 14.5. Those are 13.8 to 14.5 volts. All right, a resting state of a battery, a car battery that's in good, healthy, fully charged condition is 12.6. Once you turn on the vehicle, the alternator will charge the battery. The alternator will work to charge the battery. All right, so in this situation, what you want to do is, first thing you want to do in this situation is just to see, make sure that you cover everything so that when you swap out the alternator, it's the alternator that's the problem. All right, so there's a rare chance that it's not the alternator that's the problem, but 99% it is the alternator that's the problem. But you don't want to take that chance of spending time or money, or time and money swapping out an alternator and it turns out to be something else. All right, so basically the way this works is you want to make sure that the cables, well, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the battery's good to start off with. All right, you want to test out the battery with the car off. All right, it should read, and a fully charged battery should read 12.6. But once you have this condition where the battery and brake light is on, your battery is probably going to be the charge level on your battery is going to be pretty low. All right, because the alternator is not charging it. That's why you're having this situation where the battery and the brake light is on. But you can charge up your battery with a charger. All right, you can actually bring the battery to AutoZone to have them charge it up to 100%, and then have them test it out. All right, as if the battery is good, 12.6, the battery is good, you want to make sure that the battery terminals are free of corrosion and they're tight, and you want to make sure that the ground wire, the negative ground wire, is connected to the frame securely. All right, if those are good, all right, you're going to move on to the alternator. All right, and you can test out the situation by actually turning on the car, getting a voltmeter, and putting the voltmeter on a positive negative terminal. With the car on, it should actually read anywhere from like 13.8 to 14.5. Now, if you have it off and it reads 12.3, and you turn it on and it reads 12.3, or whatever the state of charge the battery is at the point at that time. If it's 12.6 with it off and it's 12.6 with it on, obviously you're going to know that it's the alternator that's the issue, or the wiring from the alternator to the battery that's the issue. And you can test that out. All right, so basically in this situation, if you guys can actually test what the alternator is putting out. All right, you can actually use a voltmeter to put the to test out the line that's going to the battery, which is the positive line. You could test that out, and then you could put the negative on a negative, and if it reads with the alternator and the engine running, if it reads like 12.2 or 12.3, if it doesn't read anything, it actually means that the alternator is bad. Because normally, if a good working alternator, when you put a voltmeter to it, it should read somewhere around 14 volts, 13.8, 14 volts, 14.5 on a really, on a really good alternator, 14.2, 14.3, somewhere around there. If it reads like 12 or whatever, if it doesn't read any, if it reads like 12, there's a problem there. I've seen instances where the alternator is good, the battery is good, but the line that connects the alternator to the battery has issues. I've seen this on some Camrys. I think I've seen this on some Hondas, actually. I've seen this on some Hondas, older Hondas, where the line that the charging line from the alternator to the battery is the issue. All right, reading the voltmeter at the alternator was around 14 running, but when you hook it up to the battery, it reads like 12.6. So in that situation, if you guys have that situation, if that's the situation, and you've actually determined that the alternator puts out a good charge, and you've determined that the battery is good, what you want to do in that situation is, and this is a good a workaround. All right, you can actually connect a straight line from the alternator to the positive of the battery, so that it bypasses that line, the main line that's manufactured into the car. All right, I've done that before. It works fine. It works well. It actually takes the place of the line that has issues, and you can essentially fix the problem like that. And you can fix that issue. Otherwise, if the alternator doesn't read 14 volts or whatever, it's not working the way it's supposed to, definitely swap out the alternator. You're gonna need to swap out the alternator, because without the alternator, the battery is not going to be charged up, and it's probably gonna, if it's still running, it's probably just running off the battery. It's probably gonna just die, or there's something wrong with the alternator where it doesn't put out the correct charge, and it puts out low charge, and maybe some component of the alternator is broken. So if the alternator is actually putting out like 12 point, I've seen some situations where the alternator is faulty and it puts out a low voltage level to the battery, and that could also be a situation where you need to swap out the alternator. But anyway, if you guys have any of your own personal experiences with this, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. Please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up, leave a question if you guys have a question. All right guys, take care.